If you clicked on this video, you'll probably have a couple girls in your inbox. You text with a few new ones every couple weeks and do your best with the ones you got. But what's stopping you from meeting all of them? Let's be real, right now, if the conditions for a meetup aren't perfect, it's not happening. Well, in this video, I'll show how the Allmaxxer sets up for a date in a way that actually closes every single time. So you don't embarrass yourself like the Allminner. The Allminner's been texting her for 2 hours now, but he can't close yet. Even though she agreed to meet early on, they just kept yapping and yapping and yapping. He can't cut off the conversation yet, he doesn't even know where she lives. And does she even remember when he asked her out before? If he asks again, he will look real needy, you know? So he keeps going until she's tired. Time for a 16-hour nap. No date scheduled, momentum lost, opportunity missed. If only he tuned into Allmaxxer, so he could close his dates like the Allmaxxer. The Allmaxxer has been texting her for 15 minutes, and she's already expecting the close. He already prepped her for it with a supreme conversational structure that confuses the autistic Allminner. Additionally, the Allmaxxer understands the importance of momentum. He understands that the ask is not the close. The close is when the time and place are already locked, so the ask becomes a formality. A formality which our conversational structure sets you up for if you pay attention to this video. So before we get into the advice part, I want to shift your mindset regarding closing for a second. With some facts on how shit your competition really is, and how easy it really should be. Just take a wild guess, what percentage of matches approximately end up on dates? The answer is 2 dates per 100 matches, which is an absolutely brutal figure once you consider the small percentage of guys that will ever even get 100 matches. Without ending up dating Gorlock the Destroyer, that is. And I will say, if you were ever on a date with one of these Tinder girls and took a look at their chats, you wouldn't be surprised at that low conversion percentage. I always see some objectively attractive guys with little to no game. But I honestly deep in my heart believe that the figure of 2 dates per 100 matches is just the ultimate evidence for the skill issue that's apparent in text game today. The people need Allmaxxing. And I'll give you a good argument for that, other than my personal experience, which definitely disagrees with that figure, by the way. Because the figure of 2 dates per 100 matches will lead you to believe that the girls really don't like these guys. But just to secure a match with a girl, you're already in her top 5% of the whole dating market. Let that sink in. If you match with her, you are in the tip top of what she thinks she can pull. Don't believe me? Just take a look at the statistic from swipestats.io. Women only like about 5% of all profiles they see, and they match with even less. If you match with her, you, yes you, are in her top 5%. If you're a top 5% option in her eyes, you should always be able to fucking close that shit. And if you watch our topics video, you should be on a good trajectory conversation-wise. But a lot of us still fuck up on the close. Unfortunately, I can't share all of the word-for-word closing frameworks that are live in our school community right now. Apply below. But I can give you one of the most important closing principles that will drastically increase your conversion percentage. It's a really simple concept, but even I was doing it wrong for a long time, so I won't blame you if you haven't been doing this. But once you hear it, you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's so obvious. Why haven't I been doing this? All you do is follow a conversational structure where you start prepping her for the close right from the start of the conversation. So let's say you get past your opener, your first joke, and so on. You immediately start figuring out, when is she working or studying, when is she often free, which gym does she go to? You ask her, how big is your apartment? And once you ask those questions, you're doing 2 critical things. First reason, you're actually learning what her logistics are like, so you're able to propose a time and activity where you know she's free. And I explain to you when that's so critical. You and I notice one of the biggest momentum killers is when you ask that bitch to do XYZ and she's like, I can't come at that time, I got ZYX. And then you have to be like, okay, when are you free then? And you keep gesturing and hope you can still save it. But by asking these questions before, you drastically decrease the chances of that. Just by adopting that structure, you're able to actually lead and say, how about we go to the gym you told me you're going to at that time, you told me you're usually free, blah blah blah. And then it becomes easy. Second reason, by asking these questions ahead of time, you're prepping her to expect the close. If we return to that apartment example, you can see she's already talking about how big her bed is. And that's because from my very innocent questions, she picks up on where it's going. Same when you ask her what time she's working and so on. And once she's answering those questions, once you're able to give that bulletproof proposal, once she knows it's coming, then the closing truthfully only becomes a formality. And you can start closing like the Allmaxxer. If you consciously do this, do me a favor and post a screenshot of it in our Discord server. Link to join down below. And if you got more questions regarding that school, feel free to DM me privately, Reese_G on Discord. And always remember, make her cry at least once a week.